Here are namaste and good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. We totally appreciate your time. As you can see, I am grinning with excitement because I am going to be spending the next 1 hour with the coolest jazz musician pianist in this country. To give you an idea as to how cool he is a trained classical Western musician. He has performed in over 25 countries in events and concerts, including the Cannes Film Festival. He has performed in front of the United States President. He's performed in front of the Prime Minister of New Zealand, the President of India, and all the people, most of the people who have saved the world and are saving the world right now. So there's absolutely no pressure for me to do a good job in the show. With that being said, without further ado, let me introduce you to the star of the show, Ben Fernandez. Everybody, with a big round of applause.
Well, that was for you, Siva. That was the Moksha theme. Yeah. And
Thank
started
you
with
so much.
Sentimental Journey. Yeah, the tune I played first was Sentimental Journey because I think this evening we're going to, go on a journey. So,
It
yeah.
it is. So for the audience, I'm Siva from Moksha Base, and Ben, I'll leave the floor to you to introduce yourself and open the show, and then I'll come back to you. We can talk again.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us this evening, and welcome to my home. And so this is the new reality where we, can't go out and gig, but this is as good as a gig as you can get. And, I think the same type of planning and effort went into this that I put into all my live concerts, and this is a live concert, in fact. And we're thrilled to have people, I guess, from all over the world, uh, kind of watching in and joining in, and feel free to kind of comment and request for songs, and let's have a fun 1 hour together.
It's going to be more than 1 hour, Ben. I'm not letting you
Oh,
go that easy.
oh, we'll take
So
it as it comes.
I'm still trying to figure out because I have my laptop here, the mic's here, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, should I look at the camera and speak or should I look at you and speak? So I'm going to take a chance and look at the camera and speak. All right.
Okay, what was easy, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining again. We really appreciate your time. So we're going to be spending an awesome evening. We've got some awesome event lined up, beautiful surprises for ourselves, some fantastic elements for Ben also. We
Mm.
haven't told you yet, Ben. So
Okay.
I was thinking I have a list of questions to ask and a lot of information to share. But then I thought, why bother? Ben by himself is more than enough to run the whole show. So you can simply keep playing and the audience will still love it. But I still have to make sure that I address all the points that we've kind of wanted to cover this evening. So,
Sure.
what's the plan, Ben? Do you have an agenda in mind, or what's your plan for the evening?
I guess let's go with the flow, and we'll chat about my music, chat about my journey, and play a lot of tunes.
Okay,
So because that's what it's all about.
you made it easy for me. So let me apologize first to our audience for the delayed start. A bit of a technical issue we had, not an issue, but we wanted to make sure the quality is 100% fantastic. So we wanted to improvise that. So that's what happened at 7 a.m. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. So we started a bit late, a couple of minutes. So we kind of literally have an agenda in place. So Ben, before you play anything, I
Yep.
thought I'll wait to give you a surprise, like at the middle of the show or the end of the show. But with all these lockdowns, I think surprises are not worth keeping it for anything later.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just open the show with a
Mm.
surprise, if possible. Um, we have a beautiful technical team waiting in the background. So I'm going to look at my comms here and check if there is the surprise ready.
Okay.
If it is not, then you're going to play. So I'll just leave it to you for now because I haven't got a confirmation yet. So
Right.
why don't you go ahead with whatever you want to do now, Ben, and I will come back to you with the surprise. Is that okay?
Okay. Yep.
All
Sure.
right, let's do this.
I guess let's start with the song by the Beatles.
Hmm.
It's a band that I love, and I'll talk about some of my favorites and as we go along.
Yep.
Probably we spoke about Hey Jude this afternoon, so let's go with that.
Go. I won't be singing, so don't worry.
Well, that was my version of Hey Jude.
And I'm choking already, man. Okay. I thought we'll keep this show as okay, let's just go bang, bang, bang. You just play, we bang, bang, bang. It's
Sure.
not going to work. I'm going to cry. Okay. I remember when we were rehearsing a couple of songs a couple of
I
days
got an
ago.
extra
You,
handkerchief if you want.
I'm already listening. I'm already seeing the comments here coming in. OMG, goosebumps. So I'm already telling them I'm going to cry. Okay. So I remember a couple of days ago when we were rehearsing, you played the Piano Man. And I
Yep.
told you this show is going to be emotional for me, especially because this is like a private concert. There's nobody in this room. It's just me. And at your place, it's just you. And the rest of the world is watching,
Sure.
right? And anyways, I'm blabbering. I'm going to move on. Now, I have the surprise ready for you. Okay. So please
Okay.
keep doing whatever you just did. That was magic. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
You're
I'm
welcome.
so looking forward to the many number of songs that you're going to play.
Thank you.
Let me bring the first surprise for you. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Just keep watching the screen.
Okay.
Something's going to come up. And if the audience are watching, hello.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Hi, please introduce yourself for our audience and Ben and take it away.
My name is Verity. Ben is a dear friend of mine. We play music together. I'm a singer, and obviously he's a pianist. We met back in 2005, and we have almost 16 years of friendship, which is he's one of my oldest friends. Hey, Ben.
Ivy.
Words that I associate with Ben is connection, friendship, integrity, bravery, openness, professionalism, trust, vulnerability, loyalty, and kindness. So, Ben, you are one of the kindest men that I've ever met. And I'm sure everyone will agree he's somebody that will have your back on and off stage. He makes everyone feel safe and comfortable, and he is always smiling. He's smiling right now,
Thank you.
and he's always positive. He's my moral compass and my voice of reason. With our music, we are definitely a 50-50 team, apart from when the singer is always right. um, what else I was going to say? Oh, yes, the last thing I was going to say is behind every man is a great woman. So thank you to Maria as well for organising. But Ben, we love you very, very much.
Oh, same here. That was Siva. I think I'll need my kerchief now. In fact.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. If you have a request so that he can jump into the next song, please go ahead. If not, he's perfectly fine. I think he should be able to
Yeah,
play
we
whatever he
can.
wants.
We
The
can.
next song.
We can try and do a song together. In fact, let's try.
Would
You
you be
sing
a delay
something.
though?
We'll get a little delay,
Would
but
you
we can always try. You know,
It's his show.
it's a
It's his
it's a
show.
it's a ballad. You
You
know,
go,
we
Ben.
we can
You
do
choose.
we can do a nice little ballad maybe.
Yeah, that might
Yeah.
work.
Give it a go.
Okay.
In fact, yeah. We were right in the middle of doing. For people who don't know, we were right in the middle of doing a whole series of beautiful candlelight concerts at the Holy Trinity Cathedral. And in fact, we had two due last in this month, actually September, and all gone. But what a fantastic surprise! Great to have you here.
Oh, you're so
Yeah.
welcome.
Nah.
I had to jump on. I had to jump on, Ben.
We,
Okay. So, what ballad can we think of?
Oh, what about I Only Have Eyes for You?
Yep.
Or Misty? Misty
Misty.
and Sea?
Misty and Sea. Cool. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We'll try that. We apologize if there's any delay. Look at me. I'm as helpless as a hidden. I come clinging to a cloud. I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Oh, my way. Thousand violins begin to play. It might be the sound of your hello, the music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopeless I am, love? That's why I'm following you. I wander through this wonderland, knowing my right foot from my left, my hand from my glove. I get misty, too much in love. I am misty. I'm too much in love.
That was good.
I can't believe that worked.
I know. Yeah, it sounded perfect from where I was. Yeah.
Oh, great.
That was good.
Well, I'll leave you to get on with it. I don't want to take up too much time, but I just wanted to give my love and celebrate.
Cheers, Vic. Lovely to see you.
Thank you. We
Bye.
appreciate it. That was lovely. Thank you.
Oh, that
All
was
right.
a surprise. That was a great surprise. Wasn't
Ben.
expecting that at all.
Ben, thank you so much. We really appreciate what you just did. It was totally unplanned. Of course, in the back end, we're thinking if it's going to work or not, but who cares? We are live already. And
What did it sound like? In fact, what was latency and stuff like that?
beautiful, because I think somehow you figured out that you need to delay a microsecond or two,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's how it sounded to me. And I was checking the audio on the
Yeah.
outside too. It's perfect.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
hopefully you can do this. If at all we bring in another person to sing with you. Not that I'm telling we are. Okay. So I hope you liked it. First of all, I wanted to do this, or we wanted to do this as a team.
Yeah.
One, to celebrate who you are.
Yeah.
Because from the first time we met you, we've kind of followed you, and we kind of picked up like such a lovely human being you are, you know. And somewhere we wanted to make this show. It's like, okay, we can tell him to play back to back, or we can give him a whole new experience. And I thought, let's go all in. You know, this is Ben's show. Let's make him special, and the audience will love it. It has to. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. What did you have in mind for you to play next? Let me give that opportunity to you, and I'll come back to you with another surprise. All right. And
Nothing planned actually. I thought we just go with the flow and see what happens. You know.
Okay, so let me make this, because it worked fantastically fine, though it was unplanned. This song, when we sang, and you did so well. I was mesmerized, and that's what the comments are coming to. Let me quickly acknowledge the people who have already said something here, okay? Delia DeMelo says, Ben, you're the best.
Thank you, Delia.
Genio Philo says, super, Ben.
Thank you.
Patricia De Souza says, what a pleasure watching you play and listening to your music.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Maria, for letting me know. All right. Uh, and there's a lot of comments coming in which says beautiful, awesome, excellent. All
Thank you.
right. But end of the day, they might be just listening to me. So let's go on with the show. If
Thank
you
you.
don't have anything planned yet, I'll hold you
Uh,
back.
I was in fact while thinking of Verity, I was thinking, we're all locked in, and there's this Duke Ellington song that we do. It's called "Don't Get Around Much Anymore," and that's what we've not been doing for the past 5 weeks. We've just been stuck at home, so I'd probably play that. But while that is on, in fact, the visual, I can see on my screen there's a visual of me on an army tank, and people will wonder as to what that visual is all about.
Go for it.
And I might tell you that I might tell you that story. In fact, so many years ago, when I was based in Mumbai, I had an offer to do a show for the Indian Army, and it was out at the tank regiment in Rajasthan, right in the middle of the desert. And
Yeah.
it was just myself and this fabulous singer, Suzanne de Mello, who's just a fantastic singer and making huge waves in India. And in fact, she sung on the Slumdog Millionaire, and she's the singer who sang Latika's theme. And so it was just Suzanne and myself. In fact, we were supposed to go there by fighter plane, and but then the weather was bad, so we went by train and reached the place. And just a fantastic gig, and the army officers there, all prim and proper, and it was a night of ballroom dancing, and so we played our waltzes, cha-cha-chas, and they were all dressed in their finery. And then the commandant came to me at the end of the show, and he says, guys, came to myself and Suzanne, he said, the show is absolutely fabulous, so what can I do for you? So I thought to myself, and I said, I'd like to go for a ride in a tank. So I didn't, I just said it off the cuff. And the next morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, out there was a knock at the door. And there was this guy with the Jeep, and he says, I was still fast asleep. And he says, I believe you want to go out for a ride in a tank, so we're here to take you. So I quickly changed, and, Suzanne as well was in another bungalow. And, we went on right in the middle of the desert. And there was this guy who showed us tank, 3 places in the tank. This place for the navigator. You look through a periscope, and then gunner and the commander.
Yeah.
So he let us go and sit in place of where the navigator was. And I pucked up a little bit of courage, and I said, listen, looks very simple driving this thing, because there are 2 sets of controls, left joystick, right joystick, 3 gears on each. One is forward, one is reverse. What can possibly go wrong, So
Yeah.
can I drive this thing? He said, no, civilians are not allowed to drive this thing. And but I said, please, just from here to there. So he checked with his commandant, and the commandant said, there's no one around, let him go for it. And man, I drove
A
for
tanker.
half an hour. It was the ride of my life. In fact, right in the middle of the desert, I asked for a phone, and I called up Maria, and I said, guess where I am? I'm here, right in the middle of a desert. We didn't have any cell phones at the time, but there were the photographs of the thing of me, and I almost hit the wrong switch, and I almost shot out of the turret while exiting, because in fact there was a slow release and a fast release. So but
Yeah.
but it was an experience of a lifetime. Yeah. So those are photographs of the tank regiment. I think it was the 86th Infantry.
Oh my
Right in the
gosh.
middle of the desert. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. I knew there's going to be a lot of surprise elements coming naturally in this show, but from you to talk about the story, it's epic. It almost feels like, oh, it must be a mix of a beautiful life and Saving Private Ryan movie. It's almost like that. Okay, there's a lot of requests coming, Ben. I
Okay.
didn't expect this at all. I thought,
Okay.
okay, I'll just leave you to do what you want to do. But okay, I'm gonna just give you the list of songs. Okay,
Okay.
see if you can just make it as a mashup.
Okay. Yeah.
And a non-stop for the next how many ever minutes. Okay, I'll
Okay.
just read out the songs: "The Masquerade" and
Okay.
"Autumn Leaves,"
You okay?
"Fly Me to the Moon."
Okay.
I'll
I'll write them down. Masquerade, Autumn Leaves, Fly Me to the Moon. Okay.
Yeah, and we have request for Chuchi from Ben's latest
Oh,
album.
Chuchi, that was, yeah, I can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just say Maria's heart thumping. Those are all the messages that I'm literally trying to pick up. Okay, these three songs. Why
That's a
don't you
good,
just go ahead with that?
that's a good title for the next tune, in fact, my next conversation. Okay, let's start with Masquerade, then we go to Autumn Leaves, and then Fly Me to the Moon. Let's do a little medley of all the three, and I'll end it with the song I initially planned to play, Don't Get Around Much Anymore.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you.
That's Autumn Leaves. This was a favorite of my dad, by the way. Darren and Nelma, if you're listening, this is for you. I know this is your favorite song. hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. So it was Masquerade, going into Autumn Leaves, going to Fly Me to the Moon, and we ended with Don't Get Around Much Anymore.
Joking again. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. I'm running lost with words because there's so
Welcome,
many
Siva.
comments coming in. I thought I can handle or multitask this. Like, okay, I'll quickly read all the comments, but it's just flying and there's no time. So, okay. All right. Who did you dedicate the song to, Ben?
Oh, these are my cousins, Daryl and Elma. In fact, they and their son Ruel. And
Okay.
in fact, they're on their way to. They've just moved to Australia, and they are in quarantine at the moment in Sydney, and should be out in a couple of days. But I know this was, you know, one of their favorite tunes, and so I just thought of them, and that's what, for me, tunes. I connect. I can't. I find it difficult to remember people's names at times, and but I remember tunes. I remember favorite tunes that people like, and I've been, you know, play at venues like the Sky City and different other places in Auckland, and we have regular guests there. Very often, I don't remember the name, but I
Yep.
can remember what tunes they like, and So for me, the connection is with the tunes that people like as well.
I appreciate that. And one of my first questions that I had, because we know we have this show and everybody has an image of Ben Fernandez. So I wanted to say, okay, let me just take you through a journey to talk to the audience to say, okay, what was Ben, what is he now, and what is he in the future, and where it all started. So, in a simple term, the question would be, why jazz? What inspired you to jazz, Ben? Maybe you can. Let's start from there.
Uh, yeah. In fact, I grew up to understand why jazz. I think you have to understand a little bit, about my growing up. I grew up in a family where music was a way of life almost. My dad was a classical concert pianist, and my mom was a drummer in a swing band, but she was a school teacher as well. And we were five kids, and all of us play the piano and different other instruments. We had two pianos at home, and they were going 24/7. My brother Bosco as well is a professional musician. He's a full-time musician in India as well. And my aunt as well, Chuchi. There was a request for Chuchi, so Chuchi was my dad's sister, my aunt, who is still live with us. And but music was always a way of life, and we started playing classical music, and I did my classical grades, and as I went to college, started experimenting with rock and pop, and heard different types of music, and then I was introduced to jazz by my dad playing records, my uncles Benny and Benji, who were jazz musicians who would play regularly at home, and there was a friend of mine, Paul Pereira, who's down in the States, and Paul came to me one day and he says, Ben, let's do you know the blues? I said, oh, what's the blues, Paul? I've listened to blues, but I haven't really played the blues before.
Yeah.
And he wrote out this entire tune, that he'd learned, and he used to play guitar, and we got playing, guitar, and so
Are
that's
you
where the
lost?
journey started with jazz, Yeah. So
That,
yeah, but am I still on or?
you're still on. I can hear
Okay.
you. And I was just wondering if you ever noticed the screen to see any name that's appeared.
I can
I
see
don't.
the screen, yeah, and that's what stopped me for a minute. In
I know.
fact,
I
yeah.
knew you. Are you? Did you realize that someone's on there?
No, in fact, see that's that's
Welcome to the
that's
show.
that's that's total telepathy. You speak of the guy,
Magic.
and he was on. Oh man.
No, the telepathy is here, this side of the screen. Okay. All right. Welcome to the show. Take it away. Take it away. I'm
Hi, hi,
so happy.
Hi,
uh,
Daryl.
hi, Ben. It's lovely to see you. Thanks, Shiva. Thanks, Maria, for having us here. Um, uh, it,
Oh, so Maria's responsible as well.
No, no.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going, Daryl. Is there anything that you would like to say to Ben right now?
so there's much to say, and with the limited time that we have, we don't want to take the music away from people. But Ben's been very instrumental in all our lives. He's been a part of my both personal and professional career. He's helped me. He introduced me to the world of entertainment, got me to meet the right guys in the industry, and I think he's one of the finest human beings we know around. It was very special for us. He flew in for our wedding. He raised the toast for the wedding, besides playing and doing everything else. And at every point of time, he's been there to surprise us and amaze us. 6 years back, when my son was born, he actually couldn't make it, but he actually composed a song called Ruel, which he published on his album called Lullabies, which we're going to request him to do. And then he was kind enough last year during my lockdown birthday, uh, when I turned 40. He's actually composed a song along with Josh, his son, who actually is also my godchild, on a track called Gentle Giant. So Ben can never fail to amaze you at various points. People know him as BF, as Ben Fernandez. People know him as BF, as the best friend. So each one knows him as a different thing, but he'll always be that elder brother to me, Elma, and to Ruel. So he, Maria, and Joshua hold a very special place in our hearts. And we hope to steal him away from Auckland soon and see him in Australia sometime.
Thank you, Daryl. So just wanted to make sure, is this the same Daryl you were talking about, Ben?
The same Daryl.
Okay, that's why
exactly
you used
the same
word
Daryl.
telepathy.
Yeah.
Sweet. And what's the connection? Just to make sure, I was wondering if Daryl wants to say, how did you guys get it off, or where did you guys meet, or did I miss that part?
Daryl's my first cousin. In fact,
Thank you.
his mom and my mom are sisters. So yeah, and always he's like a brother to me. He is a brother. In fact, confidant, and and he's my go-to guy. Any trouble, anything, anytime I need a help, anytime I need a sounding board, I call him up, and he's always there. He, Elma, and Ruel, they're special.
Thank you for being here today, Daryl. Really, really appreciate you.
Thank you, Shiva. Thanks, Ben, and
you're welcome, Daryl. Lovely to see you here.
Lovely to see you. And we just have a request. Whenever during the show, if you could play Ruel.
Well, sure. Yeah, I will definitely.
Thank you, Daryl. So I don't have to read that now. Appreciate that too. Cool. All right. I will let Daryl go, and I will tell you what's going to happen now, Ben. All right. So if you're wondering why is this all happening, for no particular reason, trust me. Okay. We just wanted to make sure you have a great time. Okay. And I completely understand. Okay, this is a music show. We should be playing more music and telling our audience what. No, that's the normal format.
Yeah.
But this is like, we want to take one step up, dial it up a notch, and see.
I think you already have.
Thank you. We just wanted to make you feel as awesome as possible, because that's what you do to thousands of people. That's the concept. That's all. Okay. And there's already somebody's told me, if you can stop using the word surprise, because you're giving it away. So I'm just telling you, there's no more surprises. There's something else. All right.
Okay.
So now let's go with, if you have any dedications, or if you want to go with the song, let's get into the song mode, and then we'll come back for the next. I'm not saying the word.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was, in fact, just to go back before, we connected with Daryl. I was talking about my journey, my family, and things like. So I grew up playing classical music, but then later on, met musicians and people like Paul, who had a huge influence on me. And Paul's in the States at the moment. And my first band was called Jazz Citizens, just a trio: Paul, Mozart, and myself. And we started playing jazz. We had absolutely no idea what jazz was. But then over the years, I've had fantastic mentors, and then came down to New Zealand and went to the New Zealand School of Music, and that's where my journey actually began as a jazz musician. And again, that's a whole new ride. But I'll talk about it later.
Sure. And do you want to quickly throw in where it all started? I remember when we discussed this, you mentioned about your first jingle career, how it started back in Mumbai long time ago, and how much you waited for your first break.
Yeah, in fact, I started doing live gigs and live music, and lovely bands with Paul, myself, and Mozart, Jazz Citizens. And it was a band called Tequila, and then a band called Six Sense, and then I had a part of a lovely bands called Menage a Trois. In fact, there's a photograph up with Six Sense with Louis Banks, and I think Siva is in the same photograph as well. No, I think Siva is not in that photograph, but this
is that the drummer
Louis Banks? Yeah. But there was another one that I sent out, in fact, with the same show. But that's Six Sense with that's the band Six Sense, and we had The most important thing for me is, I love working with, people I can connect with, and we're all great friends. So right through my career, I always believe you work with great people, and you work with, you work with friends, and that's, that makes life so much more enjoyable. Makes life on the road so much more enjoyable.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's the connection. That's Louis Banks. In fact, you just saw one of my mentors in my, yeah, that was a choir. I used to conduct St. James choir. Yeah. So, but starting out, in fact, in the world of jingles, I waited for about 4 or 5 years before I got my first break. I had all the equipment, but I contacted people from ad agencies, but nothing really happened. And I had a friend who used to work with an advertising agency called Anuj, and I told Anuj used to come to me for piano lessons. I said, Anuj, if there's any opportunity of doing any jingles in your company, he says, man, we worked with selected producers, and that doesn't change usually. But one day at 3 o'clock in the morning, after I finished a show with Six Sense, and I still remember the place at Rahijaz, and I was headed back home, and Anuj called me on the phone, and he says, Ben, we need a music director urgently, because there's a job that has to go out to Singapore at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we can't get hold of the music director. And it was, I went to the studio, it was an ad for Lakme. He said, there's no money, because there's no budget. I said, no, I'm happy to do it. I had all my equipment already in the car. So went to the studio, and within 15 minutes did the thing. It was pretty relatively easy, because I had been practicing, and I've been working at home on this thing, just preparing for the time when when I actually got my opportunity. And that was it. And in fact, that jingle slowly got awards and got noticed. And then, as a thank you, they gave me my next job, and it just started from there. Then there was no turning back. So people said, you're lucky, but I just don't believe in luck. For me, I think it's being ready when the opportunity strikes, and it's all the work and the effort that you put in that goes into making that happen. Yeah. We all get opportunities. Yeah.
That is hugely inspiration there, right there, where you said people say you're lucky. It's just their perspective, but the right way to look at it is, you kept preparing, you just didn't give up, and when the opportunity came, you struck it. So thank you so much for sharing that, Ben.
Yeah.
So do you want to play the next song, or
yes, I let me play Ruel. In fact,
okay.
When Daryl's son when Daryl told me that little Ruel was on the way, and little Ruel was born, I immediately went on to my piano, and I wrote this song in, I think, 5 minutes. And out came the song, and that is it. And a little later, I also could play a song that I wrote for my son, Joshua.
Beautiful. And could you also combine it with another request from Delio, which says, one of your own compositions? Is it Obrigado?
Obrigado, yeah. Okay.
If you can just mix it up, that would be awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Okay. So I'll start with Ruel. Joshua. Obrigado. Well, that was three of my compositions. Ruel, that I wrote especially for my nephew. Joshua for Joshua, my son, when he was born. And both of these tunes are actually on an album called Lullabies and More, which is available on Bandcamp, on my Bandcamp account, and I'll be releasing it on Spotify. I think very soon. This was done 6 years ago, but I still hadn't released it, and it was just a special, CD that I had. But a number of people who hear the album, have asked me to release it. So finally, I relented and released it on Bandcamp. I think about 2 months ago, and did fairly well in Bandcamp actually. Lots of people have. Thank you for, purchasing the album, and and the third song was Obrigado for my latest album. That's The Music Never Stopped. That's tunes that I'd written during the lockdown last year, and recorded with my band. And Obrigado is actually dedicated to the people from Goa, where I come from in India. And obrigado is thank you in Portuguese, and it's a thank you to everybody, for getting us through life, for bringing us up. And it was also a thank you at the time for people involved, doctors, nurses, and everyone else, support workers, people in the health industry, for just getting us through a very dark and difficult time. And we're still not out of the woods yet, but I know, there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. Another song is Waiting for Spring, and we're certainly all waiting for spring. Yep.
It is. Thank you for sharing that, Ben, and wish you all the very best for all the albums that you're doing and the songs that you're writing.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I didn't want to wait any longer and say, okay, here's your next activity for the evening. So I just thought, while you're playing it, let's surprise you. So, Maria, do you want to come out with your camera?
Oh,
Hello.
flattery.
Please introduce yourself and take it away.
Hey, Ben, kia ora.
Hi, flattery. This is the
This is amazing.
this is the second time in 2 weeks. In fact, we met last week because it was Maria's husband Graham's birthday, and we had this little musical get together. And they played from their bubble, we played from their bubble, and sang a couple of songs and drank a couple of glasses of wine and stuff. And
That was fun.
that was fun. That was fun.
How do you know each other, and how long have you known each other,
Well,
Maria?
Ben, I'll talk because you've been talking a lot.
For
We
a
met
change,
in
Maria.
Gaskell,
It's 20 hours.
2005.
2005, yeah.
And right from really early on, Ben and I clicked, and we were lucky. We had a gig I think Maria and Ben keep saying, "Oh, I was the first one that gave Ben his gig in New Zealand."
Actually, you were. It was at the Malt House in Greenhouse, in Greenheight, and I still remember that gig. In fact, it's one of the photographs that I gave the team to put up, because that was definitely a turning point for me. I was on the verge of going back because I had no gigs for 5 months, and coming from a situation where I was gigging every day, recording every day, to doing nothing for 5 months, I was definitely done, and I was on the verge of going back, and that was my first gig. And I still remember, Maria, how I came to the gig with 3 keyboards, and set them all up, and everyone there had a good laugh. They said, "Man, you don't need to get all your keyboards," but I said, this is the way I used to operate in India. Go for my gig, take all my gig keyboards and gear. But after that, just one keyboard and that's it. And sometimes it's even a mini keyboard that fits into a backpack.
And that was great, Ben. We were studying together, we were gigging a lot together, and we were able to run through our tunes, our combo tunes. We were sort of practicing our improv.
Oh, yeah.
As we went. It was just such a wonderful experience. And Ben was always so, it's been wonderful to watch him collaborate with tons of different musicians. He's probably one of the most busiest musicians I know in New Zealand, because he's always willing to go with anything. And from that, the fruits, everybody wants to play with Ben. Siva, you said, "Wow, Ben, you're making this easy." Ben makes everything easy. And it's a privilege to play with Ben. He's a great team player. It's wonderful. We work well together. We have whether it's a duo, trio, big band, whatever it is, corporate gig, a fun gig where no one's listening.
We're having our own fun either ways, yeah. And I think Maria stressed on one important factor, and that's teamwork, and that's the most important factor for me. When I do a solo piano concert, it's all about me. That's fine. But when you're part of a band, when you're part of a team, then there's no one person who's more important than the other, and that's where teamwork. And we always believe in this thing. No matter how big or how small the gig is, you just do your best, because for me, my underlying principle has always been, you're only as good as your last gig.
Yeah.
And that for me is, so every gig's important. Every gig, I give 100%, plan 100%, be ready and have fun. That's, and if you work with fun people like Maria, you always have fun. And usually I'm the one pulling surprises. Actually, today, for a change, I'm getting surprised. Maria can tell you heaps of instances. Funny, Maria.
Oh, yeah. Ben is the biggest, you will all know, everybody listening, Ben is the biggest jokester. Jokes are always played on you, but very rarely does it happen to Ben. But we have so much fun together, playing together, and with 2 Marias in his life, it's caused a lot of confusion.
Oh, it has, sure has.
Bands, people who haven't met us, they see Maria O'Flaherty and Ben Fernandez, and they're not quite sure, are we going to have, is that an Irish gig? Or is it a jazz gig? And this is a cool thing about Ben. Ben can play anything. We have this St. Patrick's Day. I'm Irish. My dad's Irish. So that's a very special celebration for me. We always have a gig on St. Patrick's Day. Usually 3 of us. Ben knows every Irish tune.
Are you playing, Ben?
Yeah, my
Thank
left hand. That was my Irish. In fact, when I want to attract Maria's attention, that's what I play. And then because she's at gigs, busy talking. So there are 2 tunes.
Appreciate that.
That was one, and then that was the other call.
People come up to me and say, "Hey, you know that little improv that Ben plays? How do we solve the problem of Maria?" They say, "I've heard it before, and we might be on the stage gigging, or I might be out in the audience settling things for the band when the band's hit the stage again and Ben's getting my attention. How do we solve the problem of Maria?" And I know it's my time to get back up on stage. Yeah. So Ben, we love you. I'm privileged. I feel
Oh,
part of your family, and Maria and Josh.
same here, same here. Yeah, we spent Christmas together. In fact, our first Christmas in New Zealand was, with Maria and her family, and we have absolutely no family here in New Zealand. So Josh, Maria, and myself, just the three of us. But we privileged to have just fantastic people in our lives, like Maria,
Yeah.
and who are family to us now. Yeah.
Appreciate that. And thank you so much for joining us today, Maria. Thank you for your time. And really appreciate everything you said.
Maria.
Keep shining that light. Sweet.
Flattery.
All right, I'm going to come
Lovely to
back
see
to
you, Flattery.
you. All right, Ben, in a live environment or in a live TV shows, we'd say, okay, see you all after the break. That's not going to happen here. We are stuck here, so we have to keep going. So if you have the next number, go ahead. Or somewhere I have to connect the dots to what Maria said, but let me come back to that after the song that you play. Do you have any dedications? I have not gone through the comments at all, but top of my head, I'm thinking, do you want to play 500 miles at all?
500 miles. Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking if there are any Indian Hindi Bollywood fans, they'll be able to connect to this tune because there's a Hindi song also very similar to that. So, and do you want to connect Piano Man to it and just spend maybe two?
Definitely.
And maybe a bit of Robbie Williams.
Okay, we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
So 500 miles, and I'd like to dedicate 500 miles to all of us, in fact, who've come to New Zealand, and we're on a journey. We've come from different parts of the world, but this is now our home. And we come from not 500 miles, we come from thousands and thousands of miles. But this is a place we truly call home, and I think we're blessed and privileged to be here. And so 500 miles. It also goes out to all my students because I know many of them play this tune. 500 miles. Okay.
Thank you, Ben. Thank
that
you so
was
much. That was
welcome.
beautiful. That
Welcome.
was,
Welcome.
oh my gosh. All right. I know you can already see who's in the screen. Welcome,
Mr.
Mike.
Kenny. Welcome, Master Kenny.
Your mute button is on, Mike. You gotta release the mic. Or if the host can do it for them. Yeah, there you are.
Sorry about that, Shankar. Hello, Ben. Fancy seeing you here.
Hi, Mike. Kira. Yeah.
Kia ora, mate. How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah. Loving the show, mate. Such a pleasure to be here. A real honour.
Oh, that again, just another surprise. In fact, now, I'm trying to think of who's on next and stuff like that.
Well, as Maria said, I think it's nice to pull a few Swifties across you occasionally, isn't it? Eh?
So how do you guys know each other, just for our audience purposes, Mike?
So Ben and I go back. The first time I met Ben was at our local church service, and Ben came in and he was obviously mentioned that he could play the keyboards for us, and then he joined us on the keyboards, and I thought Chuck Laval or somebody was on the stage. It was absolutely amazing, and from that moment on, I'm not in a master musician situation like a lot of the former speakers before, but we've had a lot of fun, Ben, and we've formed a great friendship.
Oh,
right?
true.
And our families have enjoyed lots of times together.
Yes.
And I got to say, echo some of the comments that have gone before, but your integrity, the examples of what you give back to the community are just humongous, mate. Absolutely incredible. You do so much pro bono work for the community, for schools, for charities and stuff like that. And I got to say, it's just amazing. A little personal experience that I might share tonight is about 5 years ago, Mum was passing away, and we were in the sort of final hours pretty much, and Ben rang up and he said this was in Christchurch. I'm in Auckland, and we were with Mum, and Ben rang up and said, "Oh, how's things going, Mike?" And I said, "Oh, not too good, Ben. It's sort of pretty rough." And he said, "What sort of music does she like?" And I said, "Oh, Ben, she loves the sound of music." So Ben ran away and did a few compilations of the sound of music and sent it back to me almost within 10 minutes. And we played it to Mum, and, you could see a little smile come on the face. And that was quite special, Ben. I'll never forget that. But you know what? That wasn't enough, eh? That doesn't really complete Ben Fernandez, the man. He decided that he wanted to come down and play at Mum's funeral, and he had to cancel gigs, he had to cancel appointments and things, jumped on a plane, flew to Christchurch, and played at my Mum's funeral. So Ben, you got a special place in the Kinneys' heart.
Oh, same here, Mike. Same here.
The other thing was actually more happy occasions, eh?
Yes.
My daughter's wedding,
Michelle's wedding. Yep.
Michelle's wedding. That's right. Yeah. And that was a special occasion as well, having you there for that. And in fact, mate, I can't really say enough about you. That there are not enough adjectives in the book to complete the whole picture. You mentioned before about how you get a lot of your, I guess, performances, a lot of your good stuff out of people you meet, good people you meet. Sure. I think you underestimate the effect you have on all the people you meet and you touch in your life. And I just want to say thank you so much. You're a special friend. You always will be. Love you to bits, mate.
Oh, thank you, Mike. No, thank you. In fact, Mike did mention his daughter Michelle's wedding. In fact, that was the last gig we did before we got into lockdown in 2020.
That's right.
we were in Napier, and I did a couple of gigs there. Did the wedding gig, and then played a couple of concerts in Napier as well with Lady Larissa, who's a fantastic singer from Napier. And and that's the time we got into lockdown. And that wedding, in fact, the priest who was there at the wedding said that was pretty much the last wedding that they had,
Yes.
in Napier before the lockdown. It was eerie because the next day as well, I had a gig in a winery, and there was nobody. But they decided to still go ahead with the gig, and Hugo streamed the gig live. So there were a few people around, and surrounding, and I said, "Man, what's happening?" Because this is all new territory for us.
Yes.
And we had Maria and Josh with us that day. We were supposed to stay back and come back after 2 or 3 days, but then they said the country is going to go into lockdown from Wednesday, and that was already Sunday.
Yes.
So we decided to drive back to Auckland that night, and I think we were the only car on the road for miles and miles and miles. Tried to stop at service stations. My son Josh wanted to go to the bathroom. They said, "No, you can't use the bathroom. Everything's shut." But finally, there was one petrol pump. They said, "Listen, I'm not allowed to, but I'll leave the back door open. You can just use it quickly and run away." So that's what we did, and then that's where we got into lockdown 5 weeks after that, and a whole new world after that.
Yeah.
It has been. It has been.
And in fact, while we were at the wedding as well, I think I off the cuff on my little keyboard, Mike, we came up with a little song for Ben and Michelle. Yeah.
Did you wrote a song?
It's floating around. Yeah, it's floating around somewhere on YouTube.
Yes, it is. It is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it was quite serene up there.
It was right there up in the and just right on top of Napier, in the middle of just quiet, and just me on my little tiny little keyboard, and that's it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's special, so special.
Beautiful memories.
I'm so happy to be a part of this. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, Mike, for being a part of our lives. Yeah.
Look forward to hopefully getting out of our level 3 soon and seeing you soon.
Oh, definitely.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Kia ora.
Cheers.
Kia
Kia
ora.
ora. Ben, those stories is what we live for, what we thrive on, what we feed on. So especially I was almost like, oh my gosh, this is too emotional now. If people can see me, I'm almost joking again. Because everyone who's saying, they're speaking from their heart.
And I think that's the important thing for me as a musician. I started life as a corporate career, as in banking and finance and everything. And that growing up in India, you expected to kind of have music wasn't a thing that was a viable solution. You couldn't make a living as a musician. So, I majored in physics, and some of my best mates from St. Xavier's College, I think listening on this show, we are a group of 15 still.
Yes,
connected.
I'm
much
going
connected
to
with them.
cut you right there. I know, even though it's your show, because this comments and the requests have been just pouring, and I'm like, I don't know what to do now, because I have to let the man speak. It's his show. But it's almost like people are wanting more song. If it was a concert and people are like, Ben, come on, let's listen. All right, I'm going to quickly read some of the songs for you.
Okay.
Now that you mentioned Xavier, I did see that line there. So awesome, Ben. Always, let's hear one from the good old Xavier gang. So is there a special song? Before that, there was a request called, is it Tico Tico? Or
Tico.
Yeah,
oh,
Tico.
Tico. Yeah.
Okay, so that was there somewhere, and in between all the comments, I'm just trying to find if there's any other requests from Lionel de Zosa. That's the Xavier gang.
Oh, Lionel, yeah. In fact, when we came to New Zealand, we lived with Lionel.
Yeah.
And my friend Patrick. In fact, the three of us in college, in fact, close buddies, and in fact, they were family, and they made things happen for us when we got here to New Zealand. So, cheers, guys.
Cheers, beautiful. And listen to this. Some of the common comments. It's like, the organizers are just clubbing the comments now and sending it to me now. So it goes like, soothing, amazing, so nice, mesmerizing. There was one comment far back. They said, you will be the only musician who's ever driven a tank. And I forgot to mention that. So that was a long time ago. That was beautiful. And after that, there's so much came in. So I really apologize if I'm doing a shoddy job, but this is important. I have to listen to him, observe everything, feel emotional, and feel so good about it, because it feels like a private concert to me. So, all right. If you want to play that feature or Tico Tico, and also for the Xavier gang, if you have whatever song that is, they've not mentioned the song name.
Okay. I'll play them a special tune. But I was thinking, in fact, now will be a good time to call Josh on and get him to play a song with me.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
I've been so fortunate to have Josh in my life. In fact, yeah, he's just a bundle of talent. In fact, he plays more instruments than I do.
Hi,
And,
Josh. Lovely
yeah,
meeting you, and welcome to our show.
Started when he was very, very young, and now today you're playing the clarinet, Josh? Yeah. Okay, we're going to have him on clarinet, and we'll play a little viata, te aroha, which means, you know, it's all about love and all about friendship. That's what we try and spread through our music, you know. So we spread love. So that's a song dedicated to everybody out there.
Thank you, Ben. Let's take it away.
You could play it. Te aroha. You can come and stand here, Josh. Come.
And that's Ben's son, Josh. Oh, look at that.
Twice. Okay. Again, tune. Yeah, come. You have to play into the mic, okay?
And for our audience, we knew kind of this was going to happen, but we just thought we'll go with the flow. So please do bear with us.
Okay, ready? Okay. Well done, Dashi. Yes. Could you hear the clarinet okay?
Beautifully loud and clear. Are you able to hear me without the headphones?
I can.
Okay.
I've got my headphones. Yeah.
Welcome back. That was beautiful, and he looks so sharp, clear, very confident. That was beautiful. And before you told it, that request came from somebody on chat. Could you get Josh to play with you? And I was like, wow, this is too much telepathy now.
Yeah, we'll get him back to play maybe another song or two later.
Yeah. So why don't you finish off with, do the request that was already there. I think the Tico Tico and there's another request, Sound of Music.
Sound of Music? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do some
If you can
stuff.
club that and just play for the audience, then I'll come back to you.
Okay. And then there was a song for my Xavier's gang as well.
Yes.
You know. We used to do a couple of tunes, but we had a physics professor called Theo, who we really loved. So, and we changed the song of the Caribbean Disco Show to Theo. Theo.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'll play these songs on the on the piano for you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll do Tico Tico and go into
Sound of Music
and the Sound of Music.
and the Xavier Gang song.
Yeah.
Tio.
Theo. So starting with Tico Tico, okay? And my friend Grant, if you're listening, Grant, this one's for you. Well, that was ended with the Do Re Mi from The Sound of Music, and started with
Thank you, Ben. And as you can see already, I'll take it away from here.
Mr. Mendonça.
Before you say anything, thank you so much, Warren, for your patience, for waiting for so long. We know we kind of delayed it little bit, but it's Ben's show, so
It's cool. I was
we have to
enjoying
wait.
watching it.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Warren.
Hi, Ben. How are you? Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too, man. Yeah,
Virtually,
this
though,
is
maybe.
one surprise after another, no?
All right, how do we start? How do you guys know? And I know you just did a show with Carlton Braganza, Ben and Warren, and
Yep.
I totally enjoyed it. It was crazy. It was
Thank you.
just absolutely brilliant. So we're so stoked that you were able to make it today. So if you want to introduce yourself and just say how do you guys know each other, just for the
Yeah, sure.
audience purposes.
I'll tell you. My name is Warren Mendonça. I'm a guitar player, and I've played with Ben for quite some time.
Warren, not a guitar player. I think one of the finest guitar players around, man.
The best.
Whatever. The first time I met Ben, I'll tell you, I was very young. I had gone along with my friend Sid Cooter, who plays drums. He was the drummer in a band we were playing together in. And Sid needed help setting up his drum kit because he had got called to play 3 shows on movers and shakers. So I landed up over there to help him out. And first time I met Shahryar, who was a family friend, and he was a singer. He said, "Oh, yo, do you want to come and play guitar on the show?" I said, "I don't know anything." He said, "No, it's cool. We play some Led Zeppelin and all." I said, "Okay, cool. I know that song." And I met the musicians in the band, and I met Claver on guitar and Ben on keys, and Sid, my friend, was playing drums. And in the dressing room, Claver, the guitar player, was trying to tune his guitar, and I don't think he had a tuner, but he told Ben, "Hey Ben, can you whistle a G?" And Ben whistled a G. I was amazed watching this. I was like, "How is this happening?" He said, "No, Ben's got perfect pitch. He can do any notes." I was like, "Oh, interesting." So that was my first, interaction with Ben. Then forward a few years later, I think I moved to New Zealand in 2004, around the same time that Ben did.
Yep.
And I started recording an album called Nights in Shining Karma. And I was kind of breaking away from, playing the same old rock and roll and everything. And I kind of written a song which had some jazz changes, and there was no way I could have played it on keyboard. So I said, I know who I'm going to call. So I called Ben. And Ben very kindly drove over to my place, and he played the song on my parents' little Casio piano. But it sounded good. And that was like the first time we recorded together. And a few years later, I think he had a show, which there's still a video of on YouTube. I think it's still there. And I came and played a few songs with Ben, and he had an awesome rhythm section as well. So that was a really enjoyable gig. And every time I kept coming back to New Zealand from India, I would, get in touch with Ben and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" and everything. So finally, when we moved back last year, Ben was recording his album, which I think you've heard about. So he asked me to play a song on that, and I think again it was like a very it almost felt like he wrote it knowing my style and what I do, which I guess he'll tell you about.
Yeah.
But that turned out really well, so I was really pleased to be a part of that album. And I have to say, like, the thing I appreciate the most about Ben's playing is he's not a music snob. He'll take any melody, any bit of music, no matter how mundane or populist you may think it would be, and he'll make music out of it. And that's a sign of a great musician, because there are plenty of musicians who hide behind technique and their knowledge of fancy harmony and everything, which the layperson is not really concerned about. The layperson wants to be reached here.
Yeah.
And that's like very few people can do that. Take any bit of music and touch people with that. So hats off to Ben.
Totally.
Sure.
Ben, how do you say anything after what Warren said?
Oh,
I'm like already
man.
thinking, what can I say? No, I'm not saying anything.
No,
Ben.
in fact, it's Warren touched on a very, very important thing. Yeah, all of us, I think, I too went through a phase where you try and play as many notes as you possibly can and play really fast and quick lines and things like that. But then it just becomes a sport and nothing else, and there's no connection. So I think for me, the most important element is to try and make a connection with people through my music, because you're telling a story, and sometimes the more simple you tell a story, it reaches out to people, and it touches people. If you try and make things too technical, of course, there's a place for technical stuff, definitely, and we are fine with doing things like that. And Warren and I share this amazing connection. And in fact, when we were on Carlton's show, I did make a mention. I almost feel he's like my musical brother, because we virtually read each other's minds when we play. And there's a special connection there, and that's, I think, also a gift. The gift being given, the gift of music, and the gift of connection, and just reaching out. And Warren did mention my thing of perfect pitch and things. Okay, I can hear tunes, I can hear melodies, I can hear note pitches and things like that. So I don't need a keyboard to practice on. I just practice in my head. Yeah. And sometimes the first time I actually go and play a tune is at a gig or at a concert. As long as I have it in my head, it's yeah. And Listen was a tune that I wrote, and when I wrote this tune, I had it. I pictured a guitar player playing it, and and it was everything's in lockdown. You're waiting for gigs to start again, and it's an empty concert hall, and just the strains of a guitar player playing it, and when I finally decided to record it, there was no one better. The first name that came to me was just was Warren, and Warren was in the country at the time, and man, the first time we played it, and bang, that was it, and yep. Fantastic, and we look forward to. In fact, we've got another band going very soon. We were due to gig, but then got shut down because of lockdowns. Yeah. And it's like the informal name's Chili Beans. But that's what we've been calling ourselves. But we don't know, because one of us just said that I got a tune called Chili Bean, and that name's kind of stuck, But blues, jazz, rock, and that kind of things, very up, the kind of genre that we play. Yeah, and for all of you who haven't checked out Warren, just check out Blackstrat Blues, and
Yep, support, follow, and we're here for you, Warren. We're all the way here for you. True. So we're going to push you as much as possible now. Thank you. We love you so much, Warren, and really appreciate your time.
Warren,
thank you for having me, man. Really.
You're welcome. Warren, you got a guitar on you? We can try a tune.
I do actually. One sec. Let me reach out and grab it.
If you can pull off Sound of Silence again.
Sound of Silence. Okay.
What you did last time. Oh my.
That may be a bit. With the rhythm, it may be a little tough because of the lag. Yeah. But something a bit more floaty. You want to do a little bit of Somewhere Over the Rainbow? I can just about manage to.
Sure.
Which key?
Any key is fine.
Let's do E. Take it away, man.
Why don't you play this phrase?
legends.
I hope that was in time.
Some- Somebody had to remind me that I'm on screen, which I forgot.
That is fun.
Oh
in
my
fact-
gosh, thank you so much. Oh my God, Warren,
Cheers,
the
Warren.
best
That is-
part is this is not planned. We are not designed or equipped to do the latency. We didn't prepare that for this show.
Yeah.
But what you guys just did is magic. It's just blowing out of control on the comments. So, oh
thank
my
you.
gosh, that was
Thank you.
so cool. So
Yeah,
cool.
in fact, we've got a song together on my album. It's called "Listen," and it's available on on Spotify and on YouTube and everywhere else. And it's from the name of the album is "The Music Never Stopped." So I definitely need more subscribers on Spotify. So hop on to Ben Fernandez and yeah.
Definitely, Ben. But if you're doing something like this, and if people can see what you guys are, true self, other than outside of,
Thank you.
not on stage, behind the screen, as human beings, what you guys talk about, what your
thank you.
memories about, it's like, oh my
Thank you.
gosh, just Jim, both of you. We just love you guys, man, for whatever you
Thank you.
guys are, and you're gonna
Thank
be doing great. Trust me, Warren.
Thank you.
I can't wait to meet you in person after this lockdown. Never got a chance.
Sure.
But we should definitely do so much like these. So appreciate your time. Thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Ben.
Anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Warren, lovely to see you again. Yeah, it was a total surprise. In fact, everything. In fact, I thought it was just going to be playing a couple of tunes, but it's taken a totally different turn now. But it's fantastic. In fact, and we've touched upon Warren touched upon my days with movers and shakers. In fact, those were fun days. Those were fun days on this show. And in fact, at that time, I used to endorse Korg, and people down and little kids in the street and stuff used to call me Korg. There goes Korg, So it was a fun day. 5 nights a week, on Movers and Shakers. We did it for 4 years on Sony and but Shahriar and then Cherokee. And all the boys, Sylvester, Kleber, myself, Anirudh and Surinder, all still we keep in touch and we're great friends,
Yeah.
Fun times with Shaker Suman, of course.
Sweet. Is Warren still on screen or?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want me to.
No, I have no idea what's happening on the screen. So it's a complete,
Warren, you can.
Too many techniques. Okay, so I'll let Ben do what he wants to do next. So I just thought I'll let Warren go, and
I'll go back to Facebook.
Bye, Warren.
I'll see you.
Thank you
there.
so much,
Lovely to-
Warren. Appreciate you, man.
Warren,
Thank
lovely
you
to
so
see you.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Guys. All the best.
Yeah. In fact, talking about Movers and Shakers, there was one song that we used to play there because Shaker Suman, the host of Movers and Shakers, used to love singing this, and every opportunity he got, he'd kind of sing the song, and it's Chand Chupa, and I'll probably play that little song. It's a Bollywood song.
Yep. And if you want to touch on any of the Bollywood, there's another request also, Ben. When you come back, maybe we can deal with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably play Chand Chupa. Yeah, and it brings back memories of my fun days there. Okay, I might play it on the piano. Was the sound of the piano good?
Yeah, it was. It was beautiful. Thank you.
I think I'll play it on the piano, because it lends itself really well to the piano.
Yeah.
Well, that was Chant Chupa going into Ajib Dasta. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. There's so much I was thinking that I should say, but I'm
Okay.
really, man, I'm just
No.
too much. This is too much.
In fact,
Okay.
talking about Ajib Dasta, in fact, it's a special dedication. In fact, it goes out to my cousin. In fact, he's like an elder brother to me, Bob. His name's Xavier, but we used to call him Bob because he was my dad's godchild, almost like an elder brother. He grew up with us, and he sadly passed away 2 weeks ago. And so Bob, that one's for you because he taught me that song. The first time I learned to play that song was because he kind of taught me. He sang it out to me, and he taught me that song. So that goes out to Bob, and also that brings back another memories for me because that was a song requested for when I played for the President of India, and you're in New Zealand. Yeah,
I think you have to tell that story like really clean and say, okay, you know what? I was just playing in a bar. The president of India was sitting there. He called me And he said, "Oh, you're from Bandra, Mumbai. Yeah. Can you give me your CD and autograph?" Yeah. Is that how it went, Ben? Or
Uh, no, in fact, I do play quite a few gigs at Government House, and so the president of India, Pranab Mukherjee, he was visiting New Zealand, and the state function was suddenly shifted from Wellington to Auckland.
yeah,
And the Governor General at the time, Sir Jerry Mathaparai, I was at an event the previous day, and somehow we got talking about India and Indian music at the end function, and one of his aides said, "Oh, Ben, you're from India, and you've got the president of India coming here tomorrow," and then it so happened one thing just led to another, and they said, "Okay, why don't you come and play tomorrow?" I said, "Sure," and I came down to Government House and played, and it was a fantastic occasion for me. Here I am, Indian-born Kiwi, but playing for both the president of India and the Governor General of New Zealand. You just can't get better than that.
better than that.
And as I was playing some tunes, I got a call to it said the Governor General's calling you. So I went to the table and he introduced me to the president, and president said, "I've been, I know a little bit about you, and you studied in India, but you studied jazz here, and you play a little bit of Indian music, and also." So he said, "Oh, do you like the songs? Can I ask you for a request?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Oh, would you like to play? Can you play me a few songs, a Raj Kapoor song,
Yeah.
and Ajib Dasta?" I said, "Sure." In fact, I definitely and went back and played those tunes, and yeah, it was fantastic, and yeah,
Glorious. When you told me that story, I was like, it's like life's come full circle. If you have to meet the president in India, you know how many hurdles you got to cross. It's just like a
Totally.
big deal. And
Totally.
here
Totally.
we saw the photographs of you with the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. You got Phil Goff and just celebrities and politicians and
No, it's
people who
just
make a huge difference in everyone's life, technically.
and that's just what I
So,
do. So yeah, no,
and it's an
just,
honor.
It
I was
is. It
trying
is
to, I
totally an
was,
honor. Yeah, it is totally an honor and a privilege. And that's, in fact, that's what music gets me. I've traveled around the world with my music, and I've met some fantastic people because of music. And music's definitely opened up a lot of doors for me. So
yeah.
I feel definitely it's definitely a privilege and an honor. And
Appreciate that. Ben, when Maria was talking, the second participant or the third participant,
oh, fly,
wanted to
yeah,
say the story, how much we felt pride in having you in our own concert, Beyond Boundaries, when we did it in May this year. It was original music. We got introduced to you through Paul. Thank you,
yes,
Paul. You're a savior.
Paul.
And
Yeah.
you came in, you didn't speak a word, you were full of smiles, you just shook hands, you just came, sat, did your thing, and you left. And people who came up to congratulate us for the concert, everyone asked, "Oh, you guys did a great show, but how do you guys know Ben? But how do you guys know Ben?" It was almost like, yeah, you guys did well, that's fine, but how do you know Ben? So, and when we read about you, when we see your gigs, when we watch your videos, we feel so proud that we know you, not necessarily because you're a great musician. You are, hands down,
Oh, no,
but you're such a lovely human being. And
thank you.
we wanted to make this show in our own way epic for the way we want to make you feel. So
You have.
we really
You
thank
have,
you for that.
certainly.
We really
No,
appreciate
thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Now, before you say anything, I want to acknowledge all the people who participated today. Thank you so much for joining us, being patiently waiting in the queue to come in and saying everything from the heart. That meant
you.
a lot to us. And more than all, I'm sure you would have felt that then.
Oh,
Because
yes, definitely.
you know all these
Definitely.
people, but
Yeah,
you're always thinking, okay, what can they say about me? If that was a question at all, right
Oh,
there, everyone
totally.
spoke their heart out.
Totally.
Now, it wouldn't have been possible without my good friend, my best friend since yesterday, Maria, your wife, because I got her number from Paul only 48 hours ago, and the whole plan happened. Or else we were just about to go with, okay, let's just ask him questions and make him talk about it, take him through the memory journey. But then we thought, okay, let's dial it up a notch and see if we can. If not, it won't. So if it's all right for me to bring Maria into the screen, like wherever you are.
Ooh.
Maria, can you come into this room, please, wherever you are, so we can thank you in person, so that you don't have to
She's
click
right
on
outside.
the link and join in to the meeting. Would that be okay? Maria, please come in.
Yeah, but you'll.
Do you want to just shout, ah? How do we hear her? Do you
No,
want
I
to
think
get
she'll
her
have
the
to.
mic?
Yeah,
Can
you
you
can.
see me?
Of course, everyone can
Yeah,
see you.
everyone can see you, Maria.
Everyone can see you. So thank you
Now
so
this,
much, Maria. Really appreciate you for everything that you did. This wouldn't have been possible without you. Trust me. It would have been just another show. We did our thing. Ben would have done his thing, but
Josh, did you
we
know?
gave a whole new
Did you
element
know?
to it. So
Siva?
thank you for
Yeah.
that, for all the effort, for coordinating the whole thing, and thank you, Josh, for joining. Is there anything you want to say, Maria? Come on, get in front of the mic and just. Can you hear me, Maria?
Is there anything you
Well,
want to
there
say?
was a separate private message Valley wanted to know as to how Ben and I met.
Yep.
And we met because of Ben's brother Bosco, who's watching. Now, Bosco accompanied us for a piano competition. We are 5 siblings and we were singing. Bosco was brilliant on the keys and I was in awe of him. And he said, "No, you need to check out my other brother who's better." So I went to look out for the better brother. So there's where we met. And
That was a 2-year chase trying to find the better brother, because every time she came home, or my dad was sick, and so suddenly this, the Fernandez sisters have left Lars in the hospital. I said, ooh, who these Fernandez sisters? 2 years, and every time they came home, I was never at home because I was always traveling. I was on gigs and stuff. But finally, one day we met.
Yep.
Yeah,
And rest is history. And how long have you known each other? How many years?
we've been married 26 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Really, really. That's a huge inspiration by itself. Now, all these musicians looking at it, including
we
our
had a
own
child
band.
marriage.
No,
That's what they say, Siva.
I didn't want to ask how old are you, so I'll just go by. Okay, you got married at the right age.
I think
and-
music keeps us young.
Yes, and that's exactly how we portray our family to be. We are very thankful and grateful for our families for supporting us in this journey. So you're a huge support, Maria. Thank you so much for.
That's very true. Actually, you definitely need the support. It's teamwork. When you're in a band, you need the support of the band. When you're at home, you need the support of the family, because we work odd hours. There are no fixed times, and things just changed. All the best laid plans can go totally haywire. Suddenly something comes in, or you have the project to complete, and that's it. Everything goes. When everyone else is having fun on Christmas and New Year's and stuff, we're busy working.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a sacrifice sometimes, but you have to have the support of late nights and lots of other things. Yeah.
All that is paying off in a very inspirational way. And today's show was all about that. Just listening to you and also hearing the side of your personal life and your family and friends and what everybody thinks about you. It was very important for us to get that message across to you and say, if I say Ben is a great guy, who's going to listen? But what if his own friends and family come on screen and say, you know what, Ben, this is what I think about you. You're an awesome person.
Oh, thanks. In fact, for me as well, it was, Maria's but I think the connection was with Maria's family, because she comes from a fantastic family of musicians as well. Her dad, Balthazar, is very, very well-known violinist and music director, and, brothers and sisters all play different music. And, and so I felt that connection there. So it was just another extension of my family with 5 siblings, and they're 5 plus 1 Shana, who's kind of adopted. So it was a journey, and we have a great time together.
It cannot get better than this. I mean, Maria coming on screen and talking your personal life, saying that this is exactly how we met and this is our love story, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm just looking at the time and I'm like, wow, this is supposed to be.
I just looked at it as well. But I don't know where the time has flown, Yeah.
I have no idea. And I didn't cover anything that I wrote down. I had a set of questions to ask, but it doesn't matter. We'll have another show with you. Ben, so truly appreciate that. And maybe I will just leave the floor to you and you can say whatever you want and maybe end the show and we will just wind up from there. Until then, I'll say my goodbyes to the audience. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us. Please follow Ben in all the pages that you can online, Facebook, Instagram, any pages that he has. We truly highly recommend Ben, and we love him. So, and also for our audience purposes, we are Moksha Base. Please follow us on all these channels, YouTube. We got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So just helping musicians together, help original music, and help young talented musicians around the country. So thank you all for your support. Over to you, Ben. Once you say whatever you want to say, I will say goodbye, and maybe I'll
Okay.
call you on your phone and let's talk
Sure.
about it. Okay?
And yeah. Siva, in fact, I have to thank you, Shankar, and the entire team for just putting this together. That the team at Moksha Base, we had a fantastic concert in Hamilton. For Beyond Boundaries,
Yeah.
and it's the sheer scale and the way of the things that really impressed me. And I said, because a lot of people do things, but it's just a level of organization, and more importantly, an area that I really love is the attention to detail. And whatever you do well. And in fact, even with this, we had a couple of meetings just to get the sound right, the audio right, and Shankar is a perfectionist, and
Yeah.
we kept going until we were absolutely confident, and you as well, but engaging, but how the show is going to go. And I know both of us went to bed at 4 a.m. yesterday, so it's just running through these various things. And but so thank you, and it's totally teamwork. So thank you to the entire team. Of course, I have to thank my family in a big way. Especially my dad and mom who are not here today, and my aunt Chuchi. There's a song about her on the album. But these are the people who kind of nurtured me. All my mentors right throughout the year, my teachers, my musicians who I've played with, my students, and also family and friends. They make me what I am today, and for me, music is a gift, and it's a gift that that I think the more I give, the more I get in return. So that's been my whole thing in life, and I'm blessed and I'm privileged. I can
Keep
just sit at the
shining that
piano
light.
and make music. So all of you who like to know a little more about my music, my YouTube channel is Ben Fernandez Music, and I'm on Spotify as well, Ben Fernandez, and my CD is also available on Bandcamp, but it's also on iTunes and everything else. And my little son Josh, in fact, who I'm going to invite now to play the last tune, we'll do "What a Wonderful World," and I think we'll play it on saxophone, Joshy.
I had that in
Yeah.
my request. I really wish you played "What a Wonderful World."
Yeah, I
Thank you.
usually always end my song, my shows. In fact, most people who know me, well, I either ended with either "Wonderful Tonight" or "What a Wonderful World," because
Yep.
at the end of the day, that's something that we truly have to be thankful for, friends, for the world we're in, for the environment we're in, for community, and for all the little things that we have to do.
Yes.
And so I like to invite Josh on saxophone now, and we play "What a Wonderful World," and we sign off with that one. Thank you everybody for joining in, and I've got heaps of people who I owe a lot to for their support of my music, and they that keeps me going. And in fact, in times like this where we're stuck without any gigs and loss of income and everything else, it's things like today that it really made a huge difference. So
Oh.
I don't think you really know as to how much of an of an impact it's had on me as well, and my music. These are the things that keep us going, And so thank you constantly for your support and your encouragement and for everything else. So thank you everybody around the world who was listening in. Thanks for joining in, and we'll do keep in touch. And thank you once again, Siva, Shankar, and Moksha Base.
Appreciate you, Ben. Thank you so
Yes.
much for mentioning that. Appreciate that.
Oh, you're
And keep
welcome.
shining that light.
Yeah, and in fact, Josh's aim is not to be a musician. He wants to be a YouTuber when he grows up. That's what he always says.
He already is. People are watching it on YouTube right
So
now.
he's got a channel going. That's so cool, right, Josh? That's so cool. In fact, yeah, he's got a few things that he's going to start posting very soon because he loves trick shots and music and all these things. So yeah,
I'll be your biggest fan, Josh. I'm ready.
cool.
All
So
right.
what a wonderful world, guys, and we'll take it on from there. Thank you for a
Thank you,
lovely
Ben.
evening.
Cheers.
Josh. Yep, just tuned. Well, thank you everybody for listening in, and sorry. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and this is also a special dedication to Papa John. Papa John, if you're listening in, well, Papa John is like Joshua's Kiwi grandfather, and plays a huge role in our lives. And so thank you for always being there for us, Papa John. Yep. And Siva, Shankar, and the team, thank you. Moksha Base, thank you. And everybody listening, thank you so much for joining in. And thanks for spending the last 2 hours with us, rather. Thank you.
I can go on for another 3 hours, Ben, but thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right.
Welcome. Thank you.
Let's sign out. Cheers. Bye.